How's it going, guys? Jers here, and I kind of want to talk about Arslan a little bit. This is just going to be my opinion about the game, not necessarily a review. So, well, let's get started. Now, when I first got into the game, keep in mind, I came into this game blind. I didn't know anything about the manga. I didn't see the anime, nothing. I just came in here and just as a gamer, I'm like, hey, I want to try this game out. It's a Muso game. I like Muso games. Let's see how this goes. So, just getting into the game, straight out of the demo too. You get this cool intro of Daryun swinging his spear around. He looks like Zhao Yun from, was it DW6 or is it 7? I know it's one of them that he's holding onto the back of the horse's tail, and he's just beating up a bunch of people, flipping around and stuff. And I was like, all right, Zhao Yun, let's calm down here. And he's beating up everybody, and it looks awesome. I'm like, this is gonna be sweet. So after the intro, I'm like, oh, I'm already hyped up. Then we finally get to the game, and I came into the game thinking, you know what, this is gonna be like other Dynasty Warrior games. This is gonna be you talk for 2 minutes, and then you beat people up. That's what I thought it was gonna be like. I didn't think this game was gonna be so story intense, but it was really story intense. So at the start of the game, I was kind of, you know, it was different. It was I guess you could say, I had to adapt to the playstyle of this game because I'm not used to this. With Samurai Warriors and Warriors of Orochi and Dynasty Warriors, they pretty much, they do their short story, then they get to battle. This game, they do long story, and then you get to battle. So at very first glance, I'm just like, whoa, they're throwing so much story at me. It's cutscene after cutscene after cutscene after cutscene, and it just kept going. I was like, oh god, when are we gonna play? And then we finally get to play, and it's a fun experience. I really like the weapon swaps and all that stuff. We'll talk about the gameplay in a little bit, but getting into the story, at very first, they're throwing so much at me, and I'm just like, man, it's kind of difficult to remember all this. There's a lot of stuff here. So I'm kind of thinking, maybe I bought the wrong thing. Did I buy a movie? Did I buy a game? I didn't really know. So we finally got a little bit more into the story, and the story was finally starting to grab my attention. I was like, oh, this is getting really interesting. And this is how the characters come in. Now, overall, a lot of the characters didn't really leave that big of an impact on me, except for Give. I think his entertaining personality is really what grabbed me. He had some funny jokes here and there, and then he stopped Jaswan, and I feel like he had a larger impact on the video game story than most of the other characters. I feel like he did a little more that stood out, per se, if that makes sense. And everyone else was just kind of, they're kind of there. They're cool characters, but they didn't stand out as much as he did. And maybe that's something we can work on in the future games to make everyone else seem a lot cooler. Daryun, unstoppable, beats up everybody. That's how they portrayed him. You get on the battlefield, you beat up everybody too. That's just how it works, right? But they portrayed him as unstoppable, Lubu status, right? And then when we get to scenes where he's like talking and stuff, there's like really nothing in the scenes that say, oh, Daryun, you're a really cool character. He's just an unstoppable guy, but I don't know much about his personality. So he's just, in a sense, kind of irrelevant in a way. That's just how I took it. I don't know about you guys. Then again, some of you probably watch the anime and you have a larger connection than I do. Even though I started watching anime, I'm currently on episode 3. I'm getting there, man. We're getting there. But that's pretty much how I felt about all the characters. They all seemed cool, but they weren't. I really liked their personality cool. They were just like side characters, kind of. It almost felt like everybody was a side character. I mean, Arslan, I know, was supposed to be the main character, but I didn't really get attached to him at all. He's just running around, and he's got all these. He's got Narcissus, the super intelligent guy. No one can best his intelligence, and he just predicts everything beforehand. Eventually, he's got to fail at something, right? It's got to spice it up, make it interesting. And then you've got Give, the sneaky guy. And he's the funny guy. He's the one I attach to the most out of everyone. And then movesets, everyone's pretty cool. This is the first Warrior game where I actually like archers more than other classes. The spears in this game, they were cool, but they were not the kind of spear movesets that I really loved in other Warrior games. So they were cool, but they were nothing out of this world. Isvan, the hand-to-hand combat, that's definitely my favorite. But But yeah, I couldn't really connect to any of the characters. Then again, this is just Season 1 of the game, so maybe on the next game, Season 2, we'll get more in depth with the characters. Maybe they'll have individual stories, which I'm looking forward to, kind of like what Samurai Warriors 4-2 did. And that would be pretty cool as well, because I would like to learn more about some of these characters, because they do seem interesting, but they didn't really bring that spice that I needed to really, you know, really want to get to know them at the moment. You know, if that makes sense. Probably a little confusing. But right now I'm just like, oh, whatever, they're just there. But maybe later when they have the individual stories, I'll be like, this character is so much more badass now, because now I know everything about them and all that stuff, you know? So, another thing, now we're going to talk about a little bit about gameplay. I know this is kind of going to sound like a review, but it's not, guys. It's not a review. You can take it as you wish, though. But let's talk about some of the gameplay. Now, throughout the story, I thought the gameplay was smooth. I love the weapon swaps. The weapon swaps just worked. I found the weapon swap to be superior than to Dynasty Warriors 8, and I think that was really good. I felt like they tested something on DW8, and then they perfected it in this game, and I feel like they really perfected the weapon swap. It's smooth, it looks like it belongs there, and it works. It's effective too, very strong too. It's awesome, and it looks cool. So I really like that. And during the story, I had 0 frame issues. I never noticed a frame issue during the story. Then again, there was a lot of cutscenes, so it's like these when you actually play, it's gonna be good, yeah. But I did notice a hiccup every now and then when I got to free mode. It's nothing game breaking, but this is 2016 and I kind of have higher expectations of things, even though we may not get them depending on the budget, which we don't really know about. But to continue on with the gameplay, I really like how everyone's has their own unique move set. I mean, some people, you know, they switch to the sword. Whoever has a sword, you may see something similar, but it's different for each character. Everyone has their own little thing, their own little unique weapon. You got Narcissus with the paintbrush. I've never been a fan of the paintbrush like Madai, but those two, I could definitely see those two hanging out in an Orochi game, as well as with Zhuge Liang as well. Just, you know, all the master strategists and stuff. I'm not saying Madai is a strategist, but maybe they can have a painting contest, and that could make things a little funny. But there was also things that we saw in previous games that they didn't really make better, such as the mounted attacks on the horse. A lot of them were just whatever. The only one that stood out was Daryun's, because he had an actual move set on there that actually looked cool. The horse will kick you and all that stuff. But everyone else, for the most part, very generic. So I don't know if they're just testing that right now, and maybe in the future they're gonna just go BAM and just go crazy. But right now it wasn't anything out of this world, but I didn't mind it either. Also, the game animations, I really like the game animations. I like the anime look. I think it looks great. I like it. I can't complain with that. But some of the animations during battle could use some work. And again, you know, it's 2016. I just have higher expectations of one of my favorite companies, Koei Tecmo. These are the games we love. We deserve to have awesome stuff, right? So let's give you an example, like the Mardon Rush. It looks cool when you're doing it, especially when you're doing the mounted one on the horse and just you keep spinning in a circle. It's like, oh no, it's like a bunch of ants. But then the ending animation for the Mardon Rush, it's like some PS2 stuff. It's kind of crazy. Some of the fire just doesn't fit how well everything else looks. And that's just a small gripe I have with the graphics and animations. But again, the way the game works, the smoothness, that is always going to be, and the frame rate and all that stuff, that is going to be priority over all these additional things like, oh, fix the way the animation looks. I would prioritize frame rate over an animation, and that's just how it is for me. Now, free mode, I did mention I had a few hiccups, but it's not all that serious. In my previous video, when I played as Isfan, you may have seen a hiccup every now and then, and that's only on certain stages. It's not on all of them, but every few stages I will get like minor frame issues. Oh, my computer's trying to sleep. And it's, you know, it's not game breaking, but that's something I would like to see gotten rid of in the future. That was something that bothered me in DW8 Empires. oh man, it was so nasty. I was like, oh, this is a new game. I hope the frames are good. And, you know, you'll run into a certain stage and it'll get real bad. But, you know, that's another game. We're not talking about that today, right? So, animation looks awesome. Just some things need to be tweaked. Next thing I want to talk about, the replay value of the game. Now, this is where the game suffers the most. I've already played the extra missions on free mode, and they're pretty cool. Now, if you want to keep up with the story that they're adding to the original story, there's no cutscenes in free mode, not in the extra missions, but there's a lot of chatter, and you're going to have to keep up with that if you want to see the additional story it's trying to add. And some of it's pretty interesting. If you do get the game, or if you have the game, I would recommend playing those stages and actually reading some of the stuff there. But after I've played those stages, the only thing I have left is a single DLC stage I got from GameStop, which I already did, and the story missions, which honestly, there wasn't really a story mission that I was like, oh, this is the best story mission ever, that I want to replay it. So I'm kind of at a dead end right now for replay value when it comes to free mode. So hopefully we get some more missions, but the thing is, we shouldn't have to rely on DLC for more content. This game should have had some stuff to come with its $60, you know, fresh out of the box price, right? So hopefully in the future we can get a little bit more free mode battles, something. Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate is loaded, so we can take some tips from there. You know, we could take tips from other Warrior games actually and just combine them here. There's some awesome ideas from the Samurai Warriors team, as well as the Dynasty Warriors team and the Warriors Orochi series as well, that we could take to make like the ultimate Muso game. But the replay value really drops down. After I played all the missions, I felt like there's nothing else for me to do here. I mean, this item synthesis, it's an interesting concept, but it doesn't really entertain me much. It's cool, it's something to do, but it's not really something that I'm like, man, I want to get on and I want to create the best card ever, because throughout the entire story, I never had to synthesize a single card or a single recipe in order to progress the story. I never needed it, so when I started doing it in free mode, it's like, oh, this is a neat feature, but it's not game breaking. It's not something that's going to make my experience better. I don't feel like that's made my experience better with the game. So it's not really something major, I would say. But not having an additional mode really hurts the replay value of this game. There's free mode battles which we eventually get bored of. Well, this is just my personal opinion. I've already gotten bored of the free mode battles. I've done them all except the story related ones, because I already played the story and I kind of don't want to play those again. But not having additional mode really hurt this game, and that's really what brought this game down for me, because I already completed the story, I did the extra missions, and now I'm looking for something else to do to keep me entertained until Samurai Warriors 4 Empires comes out. And there isn't that additional mode there to do that for me. I'm gonna have to either continue replaying these extra missions or hope for DLC, which, like I said before, we shouldn't have to rely on DLC. We should have content, especially when a game is priced $60 right from the door. Alright? So, without having those things, it really drags the game down for me. I have to say, though, when it comes to the story, this is definitely one of the best games Koei Tecmo's made when it comes to storytelling. Now, when it comes to gameplay, I didn't really have a wow factor like, oh my god, this is the best Muso game ever. No, I never had that feeling. I said this is a really good Muso game. I've had the feeling that this was a really good one. They've perfected a few things from previous games, but I never had the wow factor of, wow, this is amazing. Like, oh, they did all this crazy stuff that I've never seen before. They reused a few things, and they perfected a few things, but in the end, it still did not really deliver as well as others. I understand the anime is very, you know, you want to stick to the anime story and you want to make the game story intense, but what really makes a game good is your creativity, and I love seeing the creativity your company has to bring, especially when it comes to Warriors Orochi. Now, what I mean by creativity is, maybe you could have thrown in a battle here and there that wasn't in the anime, in the game. It's the video game, you know? We're here to have fun. That is priority above all else. Have fun, right? Some people buy games for story, I understand, but the vast majority of us, I would like to say we buy games for fun. And at least I think so, right? So maybe you guys could have snuck in some creative battles that didn't happen in the anime, but they could have happened. Like how you did in Dynasty Warriors. You have your hypothetical route, and then Warriors Orochi 3, like I said, that's like a masterpiece to me. I love all the creativity you have there, all the unique battles, all these new enemies and stuff. And that is stuff I think that Arslan could have used. We could have used those extra battles during the story. I did feel like a lot of the story was, like I was being dragged on for a while at the very beginning. And I was like, there's so much story, I kind of want to play. What you could have done was introduce some of your creativity in between those dialogues, throwing some battles in there, and while the dialogue's going, or the story, maybe we could have had a narrator for this. That could have been interesting. But while the story is going on, you can continue the story while we're playing, while we're doing some kind of little battle, something, a little tutorial. I know you have that one tutorial battle at the beginning that shows you how to play, but we could have used a little more. Now, I know you guys are definitely have some people that have some creativity there, because you've done it with your games before, and that's what I felt like Arslan was missing. I feel like it was just Arslan's story from the anime, but I didn't really get to see all the creativity that you guys usually do in your games in this one. And I don't know if you're just testing the waters for Arslan 2, but this, I would say this is a pretty decent step forward in the direction that you're trying to go to, but it's not quite there yet, and you're just going to have to work on some things to make it better for the next game. Now, oh man, another thing about replay value, I can never find anyone to play online with. Ever. I can never find anyone for online. I tried searching all the quick matches for Arslan. Never find anyone. So I was just like, alright, enough with searching for people. I'm gonna make my own room. There's gotta be somebody in this world that wants to do online. So I searched my own room, and I just left it there for like 20 minutes. Never found anyone. I'm just looking at my screen like, is it coming? Is someone gonna join? They never came. It never happened. And then you have online trophies. And I'm looking at this online. This game is new. This game's like, what, a month old? Not even a month old. This game is new. And I'm looking at the online, and I'm like, I can't find anyone. And there's online trophies. So that right there kills my motive to even want to platinum this game. I thought about it too. I was like, I might platinum this. I might think about it. And after I see that the online trophies are pretty much inaccessible to me right now, because not everyone has friends. Honestly, I don't have any friends to play with. I just want to get on, play with someone online, and that's it. So I don't know if your online is based on friendship or just finding people randomly. When I see Quick Match, I think you find people random. But it didn't really... I haven't got it to work. I've been trying it for last week. I'll let it run there for like 10 minutes searching for someone, and I'll never find anyone. And that kind of sucks, especially since there's trophies related to it. So, yeah. But guys, that is pretty much my opinion on Arslan. I think it's a good game. I think there's a lot of neat things that they have going on here. But I definitely have to say it's not their best game. And also, since there's practically no replay value aside from the free mode battles, I cannot justify the $60 buy price. I would recommend wait till the price drops to get this one. And that is going to be it, guys. So... this is all my opinion. I'm not here to offend anyone. So feel free to let me know your opinions in the comment section, whether you agree, disagree, or things you'd like to see in Arslan 2, because we know Arslan 2 is going to happen most likely after Season 2 of the anime is done. And yeah, that's going to be it. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you later. See ya.